This is episode 237 of the Super League pod. It's the one where the knives are out for refs, not from us mind, and the bedsheets are back out in Hull, maybe. We play a game of older or younger than they look, pick through which game of the weekend was the worst watch of the year, and Alan empties both barrels on Eamon McManus. Then Mark empties a clip or two too. Oh yeah, we discuss GB Elite Squad, re-signings and retirements, and all your fan views on the last week in Rugby League. Get strapped in, it's going to be a long one. It's SLP time. Hello listeners, welcome along to episode 237 of the Super League pod. 237, Alan. It's Alan who joins Mark this week. I'm Mark, you are Alan.
I am.
Yep, excellent. Back together again. We've only been a week apart.
Absolutely, like bosses.
So, Alan's, for those who haven't listened to the show before or aren't regular listeners, I'm a Wigan fan, Alan's a Bradford fan, but above all we're both Rugby League fans, and we're going to take you through all of your fan views on the week's action that has just passed. But before we start cracking into the show, Alan, do you want to tell us who is sponsoring this episode of the Super League pod?
Yep, so this episode is sponsored by Sarah's Bookcase. Sarah sells Usborne books, and with access to over 3,000 titles, from babies to teenagers, there's something for everyone. She also works with schools, so please get in touch to find out how you can get free books for your local school. You can find out more at facebook.com/Sarah's Bookcase.
Yep, definitely. People go there for your books for your kids. Whilst we're talking about Sarah, whilst we're talking about kids, it was our young friend Joshua's birthday at the weekend. So happy birthday to Joshua. Many happy returns to you. And I'm sure if you keep plugging away, you'll find a way to be on our Rugby League pitches, either as a player or maybe a referee. I've got high hopes for Joshua as a referee, because he does know the rules inside out and makes sure the referees that referee his games know them too. Happy birthday to Joshua.
Yeah, happy birthday. Yeah, either that or a mouthy captain, I would guess. I was going to say in a Danny Maguire mould, but he's not going to like that, is
he? Danny Brough mould, because Danny Brough did win a trophy at Hull, although it was before young Joshua was born. So
yeah. But hopefully, yeah, something like that.
Right, what we've got coming up this week, we're gonna big chat about the Great Britain train-on squad that was announced today when we get through to the news later on. A few other interesting news points as well to touch on that run through Super League, the World Cup, some other stuff, Championship bits and bobs as well, some player retirements from lower down the ladder. We have got fan views in on every one of the Super League games, and I'm pretty certain we'll spend a lot of time talking about off-field stuff when we do our Super League match reviews in the middle of the show, rather than necessarily on-field stuff.
Yeah.
And then we'll obviously give a roundup of all the other results and goings on around the league. As you know, things are hotting up in all the divisions. Some things are starting to be decided with only one or two rounds to go out there in various competitions. And then, we'll make our predictions for round 28 of Super League. And I've got a quiz for you this week. And the quiz this week, that we'll be getting to later on, is basically who said that. So it's going to be some quotes from people, and you're going to guess who said those things. I won't give away the...
Go on. It's not based on statements, is it? Because we've had yet another good week for statements.
No, but RFL statements are getting way more quote-worthy than they have been in the past, aren't they? But no, they're not based on statements, but they will follow a theme that we will definitely discuss as this show goes on, I'm sure.
The statements are a bit more mouthy, a bit less operational ruly.
Yes, indeed. Before we get going too much, I'm going to let people know. I mean, I don't know how this is going to sound this week because I've moved now into the new office. It's fully decorated, fully carpeted. However, the door the door doesn't fit the room anymore because it used to have a laminate floor and now it has a very plush, lovely carpet that we got for a bargain price because it was an off cut.
Yes, it looks very nice.
But the door doesn't shut now, so that's off. We're waiting for a wood planer or something of the sort to chop it down a little bit so we can get a door on. So we'll see how we get along in this new room, in this new environment. I probably might have to do a little bit of work getting some sound absorption going on around the place, but we've got some ideas around how we're going to do that. But yeah, that's my update, other than what I'll get to in a minute in the shout-outs. What about you? How have you been this week?
Before we move on, just are you planning to play in this door yourself?
Yeah, why?
Because I don't know this for a fact, but apparently it's quite a difficult thing, and it's very easy to end up with a door that's 3 inches too short.
Well, in the big plan, all the doors are going to get replaced with something that everyone thinks is more fitting to the era and style of the house. So, it will.
So if you mess it up, it doesn't matter too much.
Yeah, it'll only be a relatively temporary measure in any case, whatever I do to butcher the door.
All right, okay. Well, playing away to your heart's content then. What's happened this week? Not really very much. Been busy at work. Yeah, getting ready for back to school tomorrow. Kind of practicalities, and it's that kind of time of year again. So, but yeah, other than that, nothing really much to update about other than a blog.
Around our end, we're back last week.
That's early.
Weird.
Yeah, no, I mean generally it's this week. It's a bit of a phased return with teacher training days and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, it's back to normality this week. Fair
enough. Yeah, it really is. And gloominess as well with the rain that's falling. I don't know if it's falling over your side of the north, but it's certainly falling on my side of the north today. The rain.
It never rains as much on this side of the Pennines.
Absolute crap, if you ask me. Before we get into the show-related shout-outs, one shout-out to give today, as we record, is Monday the 2nd of September, and the 2nd of September is my mum's birthday, so happy birthday to my mum. I don't know if she listens anymore. She used to, but I don't think she does so much anymore, but happy birthday to my mum. Hope you enjoyed your birthday, and yeah, hope you listen. Right, some
all the birthdays.
Show-related shout-outs, Alan. You wrote a blog post about your year following each round of the Challenge Cup, which we spoke a bit about last week. Do you want to give a little bit of an overview and entice people to get onto that reading it?
Yeah, it's just it just runs down everything, kind of starting in the first round when the weather was completely different, and you can tell that we're coming back round to that now. But yeah, it's a rundown of where I've been, when I went, my kind of impressions of the games, and a little bit about kind of bit of personal stuff about my kind of dad's connection to it as well, which was an unexpected side note for my Challenge Cup journey this year. So yeah, give it a read.
Yeah, definitely. You can find that superleaguepod.com. I think we put some links onto it. In fact, I know we put some links to it on Facebook and Twitter over the weekend, so go and check those out. It's a good little read there. I enjoyed it. Okay, and then something else that I enjoyed, but similarly I'm suffering from. This weekend was the second annual Great Hodge Run, so I want to give a big shout out for Dom Hodgson for that, also to Fatboy Rob as well, and of one of our listeners for doing the full distance of that. Dr. Bob, the elusive Dr. Bob Phillips, four times listener of the year, Dr. Bob Phillips. He popped along as well to say hello. He did a lap with us of the Temple Newsome running track, but he had to go off and save children's lives. But yeah, thanks to anyone that donated.
That was a Hugh Jackman impersonator, yeah.
Thanks to anyone who donated along. Head to rundom.run. So put rundom.run into your internet browser, and that way you can pledge your support to Dom and the Martin House Children's Hospital, which is a charity we ran for, and Dom is running for all year, every year. How I put that was, they get the kids Dr. Bob doesn't save. I don't know if that was the right politically correct way to put that at the start of the run. But anyway, we did 53 laps, which is the equivalent, in fact, slightly longer than the equivalent of a half marathon. Me and Fatboy Rob did the full 53 laps, even though after his 52nd lap, his iWatch had said he clocked up enough distance. Because I'd done 53 laps, he would not let himself not do that last lap. So well done to him. We went for a Sunday lunch afterwards, and let's just say our hips, our knees, our Achilles were aching because none of us are particularly. Dom's relatively used to it, actually, but I'm certainly not. I had to, when I was looking for all my stuff to take to drive over on to Leeds on Sunday morning, I couldn't find my running shoes, and then I found them in the bag that they had been in 12 months ago when we did this for the first time last year, which shows what sort of shape I'm in this year. So yeah, my hips are really achy and painful today. My Achilles have just about got back to normal and stopped popping, which was a bit of a worry last night. But yeah, well done to Dom. Thanks to Heather as well for counting all of our laps and supplying us with food and water whilst we were going around. Everyone else who came along as well and did a little bit of it. Some of Dom's friends couldn't make it to Leeds, so did their own version remotely, as it were. Yeah, thanks to everyone who's sponsored as well, and please do sponsor. Dom's got he's got 3 half marathons left this year, so he's really pushing it till the end of the year as well with his distances this year. We think it's going to be the most he's ever run in a single year, run with an asterisk of course, but Dom is putting in the miles.
He is.
So great work by Dom, and please do show your support to him. I mean, let's not forget he shows his support to this show by being one of our sponsors, so please do show your support to Dom and his chosen charity.
Yep, absolutely.
Okay, that is that. We'll now move on to news from around the world of rugby league, which is going to be dominated, I think, now by our comments on the Great Britain train-on squad that has been announced today. So the Great Britain Lions train-on, elite performance squad, as they call it, has been announced today, and that the headline news, I suppose, is Lachlan Coote, Morgan Knowles, and Joe Philbin are in representing the outer nations, as it were. No disrespect intended, but they're in, as well as uncapped Ash Hanley and Josh Jones, and kind of the hidden headline, because it's been known for a while that this was going to happen, but Blake Austin is also in the squad, in the training squad. This is a training squad that is drawn just from the Super League clubs. It's a 29 player squad. They're going to have some meetings, aren't they, before the final squad is trimmed down to 25 men, which is going to include a ton of NRL players as well, we'd suspect. But the 29 player performance Great Britain Rugby League Elite Performance Squad is Jake Truman and Liam Watts from the Castleford Tigers, Sam Tompkins from the Catalans Dragons, Jerry McGilvery from Huddersfield, Jake Connor, Jamie Shaw and Scott Taylor from Hull FC, Ash Handley and Stevie Ward from the Leeds Rhinos, Johnny Lomax, Tommy Makinson, Mark Percival, James Roby, Luke Thompson, Alex Walmsley, Morgan Knowles and Lachlan Coote from St Helens, Josh Jones from the Salford Red Devils, Reece Lim from Wakefield, Blake Austin, Josh Charnley, Darryl Clark, Chris Hill, Jack Hughes, Joe Philbin and Stephen Ratchford from the Warrington Wolves, and then finally Oliver Gildart, Sean O'Loughlin and George Williams from the Wigan Warriors. What are your initial takeaways then on that squad?
Understandably dominated by up until recent weeks, the best 2 teams in the Super League.
Well, the 2 trophy winning sides so far, aren't they?
Well, yeah, that's true. Yeah, they are. I mean, obviously the mood music has been around Blake Austin being included, so it's not a surprise as much as it's not a decision that I particularly like, but I understand that if he qualifies, then he has a right to be there. I don't think he'd necessarily make my final cut when you include the Australian players, to be fair, but I understand why he's around the squad. I think Stevie Ward's is a bit of a surprise.
Well, Stevie Ward ain't going, is he? He ain't going to Australia because he ain't going to be fit.
No. Justice for Regan. Where's Regan Grace in this?